Okay, in this question we can see option D is the question just we solved, study guide 15 chapter 2, and option B is about greatest integer function, option C is about undetermined form, option A is about piecewise functions, absolute value functions we can say. So these type of questions is common in the recent years in Wazari. They have been asking these type of questions because in every option they're asking a different topic. In every option we have a different topic. So in one question they're asking for different topics. So let's start solving the question. Which of the following is true? So let me start from the last option. Option D, we just solved it. The result was 0. So it's not 1, it's false. Option B, its greatest integer function, you substitute 3.6, the number that x is approaching for x. It's 2.6 in the bracket. So remember, for greatest integer function, the number will be rounded down, should be rounded down to the nearest integer. When you round 2.6 to the nearest integer, it's 2, not 3, so false. Option C, when you substitute 2 for x, it's 0 over 0 case. So we either use simplification ways or L'Hopital's. Since we haven't studied L'Hopital's yet, let me explain the question with simplification methods. So limit as x approach to 2 of 2 is the common factor. We'll have x squared minus 4. And x squared minus 4 can be expanded as x minus 2x plus 2, and the denominator 2 minus x. So we have x minus 2 at the top, 2 minus x at the bottom. They won't cancel right away because they are like minus x over x. When they cancel, it's negative 1. So same idea here, x minus 2 and 2 minus x are opposites. When they cancel, you'll have minus 1. So now we got rid of 0 over 0 condition. When we insert 2 for x, it's gonna be 2 plus 2, 4, 4 times 2, 8, over minus 1, which is minus 8. So not 8, it is false. So it leaves me with option A. So option A is true. How so? Let's try. When I substitute 0 for x, I get 1 minus 1, 0, 0 over 0 case. 0 over 0 case, undetermined form. So how can I solve undetermined form questions with the absolute value functions? So we are going to get rid of the absolute value to solve the question. There is no other way. We should get rid of the absolute value. How do you get rid of the absolute value? So we use the idea of using piecewise function. So when you insert 0 for x, 0 minus 1 minus 1, so inside of absolute value is minus 1, minus negative number. When you insert 0 for x for the second one, 0 plus 1 is 1, which is positive. Inside is positive. For piecewise functions, remember, absolute value x is equal to x when x is positive minus x when x is negative. So when the inside of absolute value is negative, it comes out as its opposite. When inside of absolute value is positive, it comes out as it is without changing anything. So by using that idea, let's solve the question. So limit as x approaches to 0 of x minus 1 inside is negative, so it will come out as its opposite. X minus 1 becomes minus x plus 1, right? We take it out as its opposite. Minus x plus 1. The inside absolute value is positive, so when it is positive, it comes out as it is. Same expression will come out as x plus 1. X plus 1, but when I distribute this minus inside, it will be negative x plus 1 minus x minus 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0, so I will have negative 2x over x. X's cancel each other, so negative 2 is the answer, which is true. Okay, this is such a nice question. Alright, one last question about this form. 2024 first attempt ministry question. we are asked to find f prime of 2, f prime of minus 1. F prime of minus 1 is given in limit form. If we know the value of this, I will know the value of that. So we should know what c is, what f of x is, what f of c is, and so on. We should be able to read this function. So how? This gives us the derivative of function at negative 1. So our c is negative 1, right? The number that's added to delta x is c, which is negative 1, f of minus 1. This gives us c. And what else do I need to know? I need to know what the function is. So what is function? What is f of x? Remember, f of x is the first one at the top when you consider number plus delta x as x. So when you look at the parentheses here, your f of x is negative 2x squared minus 3. So I got my function. If I know the function, I can find its derivative easily. So f prime of x equals 2 in front, 2 times 2, 4, so negative 4x. I got the derivative. I need to find the derivative at negative 1. So substitute negative 1 for x. So it gives me 4. What I need is 2 times f prime. So multiply the answer by 2, which gives me 8. Option D. Alright. So in order to solve the questions, the limit questions about derivative, we should know what that limit form means, and we can find the derivative easily. We don't have to solve the limit. We don't have to solve the question in long way, in simplification ways. Just need to know the idea. Okay, one last form about definition of limit. Limit as x approach to c of f of x minus f of c over x minus c. This also gives me the derivative of the function at x equals c. So first, let's try to recognize what c f of x, what f of c is. For the first question, the number that x is approaching is c. In other words, the number that's subtracted from the denominator is c. F of c is the one that's subtracted at the top. F of x is the first expression that's written. So in this question, c is the number that x is approaching, or the one that's subtracted from the bottom. So it is 4. F of c is the one that's subtracted at the top, which is 16. F of x, the one that's written at the top first, so x squared. Like that, we should be able to determine what c, f of x is, and then we can solve questions easily. Now, the question gives me the function, and we're asked to find that limit. What's the relation between that function and this limit? So we just need to know that this is the third form of limit, third form of derivative. So this represents derivative of the function at c, which is pi over 2. I am already given the function, so when I take the derivative of the function, I'll insert pi over 2 for x, and I'm done. So what's the derivative of cosine x? It's negative sine x. So what I need is x to be pi over 2. So plug in pi over 2 for x. What is sine pi over 2? It's 1. I have negative in front. It's negative 1. Alright. Next question. So this form is the last limit form. So it's asking about to solve this limit. There are many ways. The first way is using simplification techniques. There's fraction within fraction, as we studied in undetermined form in the second chapter. We can simplify, we can combine the fractions, equalize denominator, simplify, and stuff. It's a way. Second way, since we're inserting 2 gives me 0 over 0, we can apply L'Hopital's rule. Another way, third way, the new way, I should recognize that form and know this as f prime of 2, derivative of the function at c, which is 2. So I can do this easily. So I should determine what the function is first. What is the function? F of x is the first one that's written at the top, which is 1 over x. If f of x is 1 over x, f prime of x is negative 1 over x squared. Okay, I can change this into x to the minus 1. I bring the minus 1 down in front, so it decreases the power by 1 and stuff. So this is the last answer for f prime. So I got my derivative. In the derivative, I'm gonna substitute 2 for x. Our x is given in the question as 2. If x is 2, what's the answer? Negative 1 over 2 squared 4. Negative 1 over 4 is the answer for this question. Okay, my two favorite questions about this topic. Okay, the first one. This question involves this topic, definition of derivative, the last form, and also derivative at a point. So h of x equals f of x plus 3g of x. Find h prime of minus 1 if these are the given. How do you find h prime? In order to take derivative of the left, you should also take derivative of the right, right? There's no other way. So h prime of x equals f prime of x plus 3 g prime of x. I take derivative of each. If I take derivative of left, I should also take derivative of right. So in this equation, I should let x to be negative 1. H prime of negative 1 equals f prime of negative 1 plus g 3g prime of negative 1. Now, this is the first step. I wrote my derivative. Now, let's use the given. What's given? Knowing that f prime of minus 1 is 2 times g prime of minus 1. So there's a relation between f prime and g prime. We are going to use that relation once I know one of the unknowns. They are both unknown. If I know one of them, I'll find the other one. So let's apply the second given and limit as x approaches to minus 1 of f of x minus f of minus 1 divided by x plus 1 is equal to negative 6. So what does that mean? So you should know what this means. Then you can answer the question. So this is the last limit form that we studied. This gives me the derivative of the function at what? At negative 1. The value is given. So this limit form means find derivative at x equals negative 1. It gives me the derivative at x equals negative 1. So this one is equal to negative 6, which gives me f prime of negative 1. So let's use the relation. F prime of negative 1 equals to g prime of negative 1. In the question, I am already given f prime of negative 1 is 6. So insert 6 for this. So 6 equals 2 times g prime of negative 1. Divide both sides by 2. So 3 equals g prime of negative 1. Now I can solve the question. So h prime of negative 1 equals f prime of negative 1, which is given in the question as negative 6, plus 3 by g prime of negative 1, which we deduce as 3. So here I have negative 6. It's supposed to be negative. Let me check. It's negative 6. This is negative 6, so this is negative 3. Excuse me. Okay, negative 6, negative 9. It makes negative 15. So the answer is negative 15. So we can see two different topics here. Derivative, taking derivative one by one, and then we use the relation. In order to use the relation, in order to know one of the unknown, we should know the other one. We know the other one by using the other given. So we recognize that form as limit form. The third form, it gives us the derivative of the function at negative 1. So when I know what f prime of negative 1, I know what g prime of negative 1 is. So when I insert everything back in the equation, I got what's asked. Okay, it's such a nice question. And one of the favorite questions that's asked so far in Wizari is this. Suppose f is an odd function and we are given the table. We have a similar question in symmetry topic, if you remember. The table was for odds right? So we solve the question. We will solve the question in the same idea. So if you know that this limit form is given and this equation is given, then find the value of this. So let's start from the given. We are given this equation, this limit form. We just studied that this limit form represents derivative of the function at c. C is not given, unknown. So it represents f prime of c. So we know f prime of c equals 32, right? There's a mistake here. It's supposed to be minus here. Okay, now f of a, we have no idea what a is. We are not given anything about a. So just write f of a minus 3 by f prime of negative c. So if we know f prime of c, can't we find f prime of negative c? We are given that the function is odd. What's the relation in odd function? The relation is f prime f of minus c equals f of minus c equals f minus f of c, right? So if you change the sign of x, the sign of result will also change. You get the opposite result. So this is what odd function mean. So if f prime of c is 32, what's f prime of minus c? If f is odd, if f is odd, what is f prime? F prime is even. It's the opposite. Okay, if f is an odd function, f prime should be an even function. So if f prime is even, we don't change anything. For the even functions, the relation is f of minus c being equal to f of c. If f prime of c is 32, f prime of minus c is also 32. Alright, so we have f of a minus 3 times 32. Alright, what else? This plus. And equals f of minus 2. So, one more thing. What is f of minus 2? Do I have minus 2 in the table? I have 2 in the table. I don't know what f of minus 2 is, but I know what f of 2 is. F of 2 is given as negative 65. If f of 2 is negative 65 and function is odd, when I change the sign of x, I will also change the sign of y. F of minus 2 should be equal to 65, right? I take the opposite answer. So this is 65. Now, I see I have f of a plus 3 by 32, 96 equals 65. So move 96 to the other side. F of a is equal to negative 31. Okay, now I'll also apply the table. In the table, do you see any 31? No, I don't. I just see 31, not negative 31. If f of a is negative 31, f of negative a is what? 31. So, since the function is odd, result is negative 31, the input is a. If the result is 31, the input should be negative a. So in this case, negative a must be what? Negative 1. So a is 1. Finally, I got the value of a. So when I know the value of a, I can answer this question. It's evaluating functions. So f of a squared minus 4 over a is equal to f of 1 squared minus 4 over 1, which is f of minus 3. Now apply the table again. I have f of 3 equals minus 1. I have f of 3 equals minus 81. What I need is f of minus 3. When I change the sign of x, I also should change the sign of y if it is an odd function, right? So minus 81 becomes 81. Answer is A. This is very brilliant question. Okay, I think I'm done with this topic. I covered pretty much everything about these three forms. I solved every type of questions that's in the book and that came in Wizari. So I'm done.